Here we go again. Immediately after the spectacle that was badass Ravi Kumar, I went for the Advait Chandan directed film Loveyapa starring Junaid Khan and Khushi Kapoor in lead roles. There has been a lot of noise surrounding this project for the rather awkward marketing of the film, where both the actors seem to be misfits in trying to perform the most basic choreography so that they convince the audience that it is not their first rodeo with films, and that they're actually prepared to create an impression. While the intention and execution may have been poles apart, I went with zero expectations for this film as I thoroughly enjoyed the inventive nature with which Pradeep Ranganathan directed the original Tamil film Love Today. I know many people immediately froth in the mouth to be absolutely rageful when another Nepo baby product comes from Bollywood, and even more so when it is a remake, just reflective of the hollow creative state of Hindi cinema right now. But I will try to be as civil and objective with my analysis and communicate to all of you why the ultimate result of this film slightly frustrated me. For those who haven't seen the original Tamil film, Loveyapa focuses on two 24-year-olds from Delhi, Gaurav and Bani, played by Junaid Khan and Khushi Kapoor respectively, who are dating each other and assume that everything is smooth sailing in their relationship, having plans to eventually get married. When Bani's father, played by Ashutosh Rana, wants to put their relationship to the test, he advises the couple to exchange phones for 24 hours, and even if they want to remain together after this stipulated time, then the prospect of marriage can be discussed. The doubts that creep in as both the individuals have access to each other's phones, eventually unraveling several secrets that they kept from each other, making them doubt each other's individual moral compass and the implicit trust that they placed, leading to several arguments, forms the basic premise of Loveyapa. Whether the couple perseveres despite all of these secrets and lies getting exposed are the basic beats of the screenplay. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Loveyapa in theaters or not. Meet cute and establishing dynamic. The film is a faithful remake of the original film, and by that I mean that it executes the same editing pattern that made the Tamil film so special. While I have constantly complained about the young stories in Hindi cinema almost giving the approach as if boomers have made the stories for Gen Z, the aesthetic and creative choices on how to visually tell the story is fairly youthful. The relationship and dependence of the age demographic with social media is spot on, and the visual depiction of the same through chats actually playing out, Instagram DMs being flooded, and the bizarre nature of how trolls and creeps bombard one's inbox extracts some genuinely funny moments. While I was watching the film hesitantly, the initial portions of the movie, especially that establishes the cute dynamic between the lead couple, them sharing sweet nothings with each other in Sundar Nursery, some nauseatingly cute nicknames at each other, them being introduced to one's friend circle and trying to create an impression with their parents, you have to be a really terrible actor to get these basic beats wrong. And I must say, Advait Chandan, for the most part, stays faithful to the original, making it a breeze initially. This is both why the film never transitions to become a try-hard young story, but also one of the main reasons why it doesn't have its own identity. It's just a retelling, with lead actors who have limited range and which lacks even the emotional depth that the original film attempted. More on that later. What I'm tired of. There are two gripes that I really want to speak about that have essentially become tropes of Hindi cinema that I'm really getting tired of. One is the concept of going viral. This is one of the most hilarious things showcased in film because it's so far from the truth. Whenever a character is portrayed to post something online, the visual depiction by filmmakers is to immediately make the views and likes of the video shoot up. So much so that the individuals become an overnight celebrity, where people start approaching them, and the internet success and validation that they get makes them assume that they're the next Bhuvan Bam in town. This has been seen in countless young stories that really gives, out of touch energy. The second gripe that I have with this film is that it attempts to portray the story to be a Delhi story. How does one convey that this film is based in Delhi? Well, we will keep on referencing landmarks just so that you know it's authentic. जनपद की शॉपिंग, बंगाली मार्केट के रसगुल्ले, लाजपत नगर की चाट, रजौरी गार्डन और करोल बाग का डिस्टेंस. It's all very generic examples of a tourist checking off their to-do food list in the city. The common meeting place being Sundar Nursery to further just enhance the point of being locals. The film visually never comes across as a truly Delhi story, but something that could have been placed anywhere and it wouldn't matter. When you saw stories like Vicky Donor or Band Baja Barat or Do Duni Char, Delhi almost came across as its own character in these stories. Not so much over here. Supporting cast. I absolutely cannot fault the performances by the supporting cast of this film, and that's also such a regular feature of movies that also star mediocre to average performances by products of nepotism, right? I don't mean to sound harsh, but this is not my first rodeo watching a film that is passable in many ways, but if I were to really analyze it, it also stems from mid performances being cushioned by otherwise seasoned actors, making you assume, hey, it isn't all that bad, right? Ashutosh Rana as the strict patriarch is absolutely hilarious in this film. His Shuddh Hindi and banter while essentially interrogating Junaid extracts several laugh-out-loud moments, wanting thus Pramukh Karan in rejecting arranged marriage proposals from Bani, awkwardly but scarily laughing while referencing it as Opahas, or even further describing his attention to detail as Thok Bachakar Janch. It all makes you as a viewer also sit upright, hopeful that you aren't making a bad first impression. Kiku Sharda plays the role of Anupam, the same role so sincerely portrayed by Yogi Babu in the original film, and he does a great job in tapping into the emotional core and insecurities many don't express or understand. It's another example of how we dismiss most entertaining comedians as being reserved for just gags and laughs, but they have so much more depth if just given the opportunity to explore. Khushi Kapoor plays the role of Gaurav's mother, and while she may have done a PhD at this point in playing the concerned and expressive mother in films, she flows beautifully between entertaining and dramatic in this movie, especially when referencing the difference between generations and their concept of love. Even the friends that surround Junaid's character, especially the likes of Kullu and Nikhil Mehta, project more Dilli energy than our leading man, lacking emotional depth and what no one acknowledges. This is where the key distinction arises for those who have seen the original film, and if you remember, the analogy of trust that was created through the visual depiction of a seed that grows into a tree, it hit home the concept of patience that translates into a successful relationship so much more than just a generic speech by a parent. The film stays faithful to the original film but lacks the extra punch that immediately made you emotional. The Hindi film goes through its emotions but never hits you in the gut. Whereas I vividly remember bursting into tears as Pradeep looked at the result of his patience. And just like Deva that refuses to take risks and asking the real questions, this remake also sticks to playing it safe versus actually exploring the deep cracks in the relationships of today. The dependence on phones and the plethora of options available for a generation has made feelings fleeting. And there is an impatience in actually putting in the work to reach a middle ground versus what's convenient, running away from one's problems. And this core theme is almost lost in translation. While everyone would like to take sides in the story and reference who was right in the relationship and who was wrong, I think morally both the characters were doing extremely shady things, something that contradicts being in a trustworthy monogamous relationship. So they are screwed up people who acknowledge their mistakes and meet a middle ground. I don't see anything particularly wrong in it, even though dependent on one's moral compass, one will cut off each other dependent on wherever their line is. I just wish the film addressed more of these sticky issues versus papering over the cracks and just sticking to showcasing the basic beats of the original film. Similarly, Deva didn't try anything special, nor did Baby John, so just don't make remakes, na? The lead pair and not my first rodeo. Both the lead actors have rather mixed performances in this film. Junaid especially sticks out like a sore thumb for me, being extremely awkward as the youthful, charming lead, almost feeling uncomfortable. Like this is not his comfort zone whatsoever. I mean, they put literally a parallel of Amir Khan and him together in one of the visuals, and you can see the stark difference. When you see him awkwardly dance or deliver slang Hindi dialogues like बहुत भसूड़ी फैल गई है और पिछवाड़े में छाता देके खोल देना है मैंने, it's all curated, controlled and delivered in a stiff fashion. Versus coming across as a West Delhi ka londa where these insults just flow. Junaid externally, I mean physically, just seems awkward performing lip sync and doing what commercial heroes need to do with, like a flair and ease and movement. He's fine in some parts, but actually sticks out as the odd one out within the group of his friends too. Khushi Kapoor again goes through the basic emotions, but has the same issue like her sister Janvi. Both the sisters can emote with their eyes beautifully. If one breaks down, it's almost natural for both of them, getting teary-eyed and the face getting flushed. So while the expressions are on point, It's in the delivery where Khushi falters, having this nasally, raspy tone like her sister and struggling with the diction required for a girl born and brought up in Delhi, one, but also a daughter of someone who speaks such fluent Hindi. It makes both their performances a mixed bag because when the dramatic portions do appear, you see their limited range being exposed. And I'm not going to sit over here and again justify on how we should give them handouts and a pat on the back for at least trying. At least it's better than what their previous outing at the movies was. I would actually argue that Junaid was far better in Maharaj than in this film. But you know what I mean? I've been here, speaking about how at least they're improving and 10 films pass by and a convincing performance appears and we all clap our hands as they deliver the bare minimum of what is required to become an actor. I come from the generation where actors were so prepared to give their blood, sweat, and tears for the role that it seemed like they belonged and will be here for the long run. And I can't deal with such raw, unprepared acts, which will eventually get refined for all of us to see. One opportunity after the other, while the streets of Aram Nangar will get stacked with people craving for that one opportunity and having everything that is tailor-made to be launched as a commercial hero in Hindi cinema. I'm always a reviewer who looks at the silver lining, but I am tired of constantly seeking for gold or seeking for something in a mostly average product. I've reached a point where I just have to reference something as mid and again convey my frustration of the amount of work the actors need to do because it's just not translating on camera. If you're getting this opportunity, you better make the best bloody first impression versus riding on the coattails of your privilege, assuming that work will just keep on coming. It's okay, but it's not good enough.